Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Athleticademix podcast. We're now at episode 17, heading towards mid-February now of 2021. So little update on where we're at on things in the UK and in Sweden as well, and Denmark. Currently finishing off our 2021 recruiting class, tying up some deals for Romanian athletes looking to make decisions very soon, and helping lots of others through the various administration responsibilities they have up until now and next summer. We've already begun our 2022 intake, which is great. And that's really what this podcast, or this episode, I should say, is going to be geared towards. It's for those listeners that are still considering the US university route as an option for 2022 and beyond, and really why you should start now in order to take advantage of the time you have and find the right option for yourself. So without further ado, Robin's joining me over in Sweden.
Yeah, hi guys.
And Robin's going to kick us off on why any athlete listening here that wants to go to the US in fall 2022, so that's kind of late summer 2022, why they should be starting this process already.
All right, so one of the main keys and also main topics when we speak about starting early is the set number of athletes in each college squad. So no matter what sport you do participate in, there's a set number of athletes they could have in the squad. And each year that squad is full because the coach wants the best possible squad for their school so they can win as many games, win as many competitions, or whatever they do. They need to have the best possible athletes in the squad. That being said, college is a 4-year thing. So after 4 years, you do graduate and you cannot compete anymore. So there's always athletes to replace each year. So each coach always knows how many athletes he or she are going to replace for the upcoming year or even the year ahead. So for fall 2022s, they already know how many athletes they need and what they are looking for.
Yeah, and also with college sports growing year by year, the interest worldwide grows every year as well. So in every single country, more or less in the world, there is athletes trying to vie for positions and scholarship opportunities in the States. So it isn't a case of just a few countries being able to do it and being able to walk in late and just find something waiting for you. The slots available and the funding available is now extremely difficult to obtain. It is still possible, but it just gets harder each year. So as with anything in life, being prepared, starting early and having everything you need in order to maximize your opportunities is the best way to go forward with it. It's too big of a decision to leave late in the day and decide, or maybe I'll do it later. This is a huge choice to make, to go over to the US for university. So it needs to be something that you're fully committed to from an early stage with your family as well, and get the right advice and guidance from the very start. And on top of what Robin said there about the college coaches quite rightly knowing what they're going to have next year, the year after, the year after that, in terms of the current athletes they have graduating and what spots may be available that they need to look for. That does not happen, a few weeks before they need it. That happens years in advance. So whilst they may not be making an offer right now for a 2022 or 2023 athlete, they will certainly have a pool of athletes that they're considering or monitoring their progress of. I can speak to that from my own experience as a college coach with St. John's men's soccer, and was looking at 50 to 75 athletes a week sending in video footage or applications to come and be part of our soccer program. So huge numbers coming in, not all of which we could consider, but some we would. And the ones that we were serious about for any year in the next sort of 2 or 3 years in advance, we would basically add to a chart, a positional chart of squad depth and recruiting strength, if you like, on which players we prioritized and who might also be options down the line. And then we would want to track their progress and go to see games or video footage as the months went on. So that happens in every college environment in the country. And what's important is that you're part of that and on the coaching radars from the very start, and not when it's too late and they've already offered that money out, as Robin said.
All right. So besides the big advantage of having scholarships available and spots available for athletes in their squad, there's also a few other things that you could use to your advantage of getting started early. A big one is your profile preparation. When you sign up for us at Athleticademix, you do get a profile on our website that coaches can access, and that profile is in many ways your first page of your profile is your what we showcase to the coaches. And a few things that you do have on your profile is firstly a video. So for a soccer player, for example, a video is crucial because soccer is a sport where you're getting judged by video and by what you see. There's no black or white. It's a sport where I can think someone is great and someone thinks the same person is a horrible player. So it's a sport where video is crucial, but also for sports like swimming, track, who are result based, they also need video because there's many things that a coach could look at, like technique, where could you improve. You might swim at one certain time, a coach see on video and see big improvements in what he or she wants to do with your training. So video is crucial for any sport you compete in. So by starting early, you do have time to work on that video. You can set time apart to create the best possible video for you. And besides the video, you can also have time to get good test scores, because when going to college, you need to do the SAT, and you also need to do an English proficiency if you're not a native English speaker like myself, who's from Sweden. I needed to do TOEFL, which is the most common one with Duolingo. So if you do start early, you can take the tests several times, which is great because then you can get a so-called super score. You can combine your scores so you can get the best possible total score. And with having a high test score, you could qualify for academic scholarships, you could qualify for your dream school. There's only benefits in getting high scores on the SAT or the English proficiency. And by starting early, you do have the opportunity to prepare. We do send you SAT prep that we work with a company that does offer that. So we try to do our best to help you prepare as well, so we can make advantage of the time that you've given yourself. And also the SAT are not offered weekly. It's offered 5 to 6 times a year. And they tend to be quite popular since it's crucial to take it when you go to college. And that being said, these test dates can be full, and if you're not in time, you might need to wait 3 additional months. So when being in time, you can choose what dates you can take them. Usually we want you to book 2 straight away, so we have two times to get a good score, and you can also prepare to get the right type of scores.
Yeah, and following on from Robin and I were saying in the previous section about getting on the radar of college coaches and their recruiting lists as early as possible. Further down the line, when it comes to the stage of those coaches being ready to make scholarship offers to the recruits they're considering, that's where it really does pay off from you being on their radar some weeks and months before that. So when they are at the point of trying to decide on who they wish to make an offer to, you want to be at the top of that list. Or if they are considering offering somebody else, let's say an athlete from Germany or Finland or somewhere different, we want them to be able to, or to need to hesitate and consider you first before they do anything. All of that comes from starting early and being on the piece of paper in front of them, or on their desk at all times, top of the pile, so that you're in their mind. They need to know that you're on the market. Without knowing that you're there, it could be too late in a few months' time, even if you're the answer to their prayers. For you specifically in this process as well, it's not all about the coaches having the right time and decision-making process for themselves. It's also for you. And when you want to make your decision, it goes without saying, the athletes that perhaps start this process very late in the day and are more rushed to go through it, they need to make decisions in a shorter time span, and that can put a little bit of pressure on them to accept a certain offer. It still could be that they're going to their dream school with a fantastic scholarship package, but it also means that maybe they are it's somewhat limited on the options they have available. Whereas if you've started earlier, you won't need to make your decision straight away. We have a number of 2022 athletes working with us right now, and none of them will be making their decisions on a college, I would say, and Robin, you'll probably agree, at the earliest, probably August time this year, which is a full 12 months in advance of when they would go. Most will be sometime throughout the fall or autumn or the winter, but everybody is different, and there's no right or wrong answer there. It's what matters for you. So by starting early, you get more time to speak with more coaches, assess more options, and make a decision when you feel 100% ready.
Yeah, and also one key thing to add there is that this is a foreign thing to do. It's a thing that no matter what country you come from, besides the US, going to US for a college it's a big thing to do. It's a lot of things that you need to grasp, and a lot of things that you need to understand. So when starting this process with Athleticademix, you do not need to know what type of school you'd like, what major you should read. All you need to know is, do I want to go to college, and do I want the help of Athleticademix? Great, then we'll get started. During this time, when you get to speak to coaches, you speak to us as an agency, you do learn more about college, which actually helps you, because what you maybe thought was your dream destination when starting this process, 8 months ahead, when you're about to make that decision, you might have totally different preferences than you started with. And that's all right, because you learn more about college each day you're in this process. And that's one of our main goals with working with all of our clients, that you should learn as much as possible, so you get to understand what you want yourself. So when signing up with us, we do not need a list of your dream schools. We'd love to hear about them, but it's also about you learning about yourself too, actually. So when you do get time to think, you usually end up picking the right choice. And by saying the right choice for you. And that might be a bit easier to pinpoint if you've done this for a longer period of time. And in all honesty, there is not a single negative thing in starting early. You only have advantages to gain. We've mentioned a few of them here, but there's really not a single thing that's negative. I've had the arguments of saying that, oh, I want to go to college, but I don't really know what I want for type of college or type of experience. That's all right. We'll work that out together. We'll give you the information you need and give you the time you need in order to do that. But while you're thinking about what you want as a college, start with us. Do your test scores, because your test scores needs to be high no matter what college you would like to aim for. Set your preparations up as best as possible, and then you get a result that is just as good as possible for your opportunities.
Okay, so to sum up on what the advantages are of starting early and what you can do to maximize your potential here, as looking right now as a 2022 athlete, first thing that we would work with you as well, and you should be looking to prioritize, is to sign up for the tests, whether that be an SAT test. You can also do the ACT test in the UK, which we have information about, and obviously the English proficiency test, if that applies to you as a non-native English speaker. They're the first points of call, and something that anybody can get on with on day one in terms of registering for and preparing for, as Robin said, and that should be done as soon as possible. Alongside that, creating a highlight video of yourself as soon as you possibly can. Now, we 100% realize over the last year that that's been incredibly hard for lots of athletes, given that sport's been so heavily disrupted throughout 2020 and still to this day in lots of areas. So everybody has to work with what they can for now, and then as soon as sport does resume properly and there's the opportunity to get recordings of you in competition, then you should be doing that as soon as possible as well. At every opportunity now, it's so vital. So that being said, what we would aim for with 2022s is to get a relative amount of highlight video footage or competitive footage, depending on your sport, which then can be updated roughly every 3 months or so, because the more current the footage, the better. And that will be a work in progress, of course, but that's something you can be working on from day one. And this message is really important to our current Athleticademix 2022 athletes that have started up nice and early and have begun the process with us, which is fantastic, is not to just wait around or just rest up and think that you've got so much time. Is wherever possible, and most of the athletes I'm speaking about here have done this, but wherever possible, take advantage of this time, and it will pay off in the long run.
Yeah, and also a key point is that let's say you are creating a highlight video for yourself, and you're gonna rewatch whole of last year's footage. That is gonna take you some time if you're gonna do it properly. Trust me, you get squared eyes, as we say here in Sweden, because it's a lot to take in. Whenever you watch your highlight video or create your own highlight video, you need to have um, critical eyes, fresh eyes. So it does take time. A highlight doesn't get created in an hour or two. Create a highlight of what you have today, and then of each game you have filmed from that moment on. Sit down the day afterwards, note down some notes so you don't need to rewatch it again. So you look at it with fresh eyes when you still have that game in mind. So it could actually help you quite a lot as well in terms of time. And also, as soon as we're able to have showcases, which we're aiming for, at least here in Sweden, to have in the summer, hopefully, keeping my fingers crossed, attend as many showcases as possible. This whole process is all about maximizing your possibilities, and by attending as many showcases as possible, you do maximize and showcase yourself to the best of your ability. And as an Athleticademix client, you are always guaranteed a spot in our showcases. So there's never a doubt that a client of ours can't be squeezed in or can't fit into the squad. You always have a squad in our showcases. So whenever possible, attend the showcase in order to get more footage, be discovered by new coaches, and yeah, meet us. Also, it's been hard to meet our clients this last year, so we love our showcases because then we get to meet you face to face. And yeah, just be as proactive as possible. Make sure to complete all tasks sent by us through the portal, and remember that you only get so much that you put yourself into this process. So put hard work in, and we can assure you good results.
Okay, so that's all the information and advice we kind of had there for our 2022 prospects. So what can you do now if you're listening to this as an athlete that's considering going through this process? Maybe you've been in touch with us already. Maybe we may be waiting for something from you in terms of a CV we've asked you to fill out, or email correspondence. Get back to us. Keep in touch. And if you've not been in touch with us so far, you can reach out to us by filling out a free assessment on our UK website or on our Swedish website. And we'll get back to you right away with some more information. The next step, or the key step for every athlete and parent that may be listening, would be to set up a call and meeting with either Robin or myself, depending if you're in the UK or Sweden, of course. And that's where we can really hone in on you individually and talk about you and your potential opportunities and talk you through the process alongside that. So don't delay with that kind of thing. Make sure that you reach out and get the information you need. There isn't any commitment or anything like that with a meeting. It's more about just exchanging details and information and answering your questions until you're happy to make a kind of decision in the near future. You can find our free assessment on our website, which is www.athleticademix.com, or in Sweden is www.athleticademix.se. And that's where you can reach us with all of our details on there to contact us as well. But thank you very much for listening, and we shall be back very soon with a new topic, and look forward to speaking to you all again.
Yeah, look forward to talking to you guys. Don't be shy and reach out. Take care until then.